welcome to my video. My name is Estela. How are you? So, I'm always crocheting many things for my customers or for friends or as a gift, and I'm never crocheting anything for myself, or I'm rarely crocheting something for myself. So, in today's video, I'm going to be crocheting 2 winter hats for myself, yay! And I thought it would be nice to bring you along with me. So let's start! I own quite a few handmade hats, but I don't have anything that is in solid and neutral colors. So that's what I want to do today. I want to make 2 hats in neutral colors. I'm going to make them using number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. And the colors I'm choosing are topaz and black. So this topaz is kind of a golden brown color and black is black, right? Super neutral. We cannot go more basic than this. So let's start. I really like to work with half double crochet stitches, so that's what I'm gonna use for my hats. And I really like to work half double crochet stitches in the back loop only, because it creates a beautiful ribbed effect. So the hats are going to be in neutral colors, but the pattern, the effect, is going to give it a nice touch. I'll be using a 5mm crochet hook today with my number 4 medium yarn. So the only materials needed today are yarn, crochet hook and scissors. And the hook size is accordingly to the thickness of the yarn you're going to use. So if you choose a thicker yarn, you adjust the hook size to a bigger size, right? And if you are using a thinner yarn, you decrease your hook size. And we also need a tapestry needle. So the first thing we have to do is to make a slip knot. And then we are going to make a foundation chain. So we are going to make many chains here until we reach a height that we like. And by that I mean the height of the hat here on the head, right? So I'm going to make cuffed beanies. So when making my foundation chain, I have to consider that. So I have to leave some extra chains to fold my hat up a little bit, right? To have the cuff here. So I still don't know how many chains I'm going to make. So I make a few of them. And then I measure on my head along the way. So I go to the mirror and I see if it's the way I like it. So it's really nice to make something like this because you can adjust to any size. So you can make hats for adults, for babies, for kids. And yeah, the options are endless, right? So you just adjust the size along the way. Or you can use a chart that shows you the standard sizes for hats and follow those directions. I'll leave the link to where I found this chart on the description. Okay, so I think something like this is too much. I'm going to frog some chains here. Yeah, I think it's okay like this. I don't want a big, huge cuff here because the other hat I have that I wear a lot, I love it, but it's big. Let me show you. Do you see this hat here? It's very, very long. I still wear it, and I wear it as a slouch style. You see, there's a lot of room there. I would like it to be tighter on my head, like this. So I have to fold it here and have a very big cuff. So on my new hats that I'm going to make today, I don't want this to happen, so I want them very, very well fitted. So we are getting the measurement for here now, for the height. And also we need another measurement, which is the circumference of the head. But we are going to get there. And I will explain to you better. The way I like to measure is that I go from the top middle of my head here until between my lips. And I measure there. And that's approximately the height of the hat that I'm going to make. Alright, so look at that. It matches the measurement of my head that I just took. So my foundation chain has approximately 10 inches. Okay, so now I make one extra chain. And then on my second chain from the hook, I make a half double crochet. And then one half double crochet in each chain from the foundation chain. So we don't skip any chains anymore. It's just for the first half double crochet. So now that we are done with the first row is when the fun is going to begin. So we chain one and then we turn our work and then we are going to make one half double crochet in each half double crochet from the previous row. But these are special half double crochet stitches because we are going to make them on the back loop of the half double crochet from the previous row. You are going to make a half double crochet grabbing only this back loop here from the half double crochet from the previous row. So this is the front view of your half double crochet stitches. When you turn it and you get a top view here, look, this is the top view of the stitches. You see there are two little loops there. You are going to make the half double crochet grabbing only that back loop. So let me make the first one here, and then the second one is easier to see. So you grab this loop here only. So we continue making that until we reach the end of the row here. So I'm done with row 2 and then I'm going to chain one and turn my work. And something that might be a little bit confusing, and I have some of you guys already asking me this in other videos, is that from now on, we work half double crochet stitches on the back loop only for all rows. It's not alternating one with only half double crochet and the other one with half double crochet in the back loop only. No, it's not like that. It's all half double crochet stitches on the back loop only for all rows from row 2 to the last row. Is that clear? And the number of rows we are going to make depends on the circumference of your head, right? So my head measures approximately, I think, 21 inches here in circumference all around. And then I make my hat measuring 1 inch less than that measurement because yarn is stretchy, right? And then we have a slightly smaller hat that will fit tightly on the head. But some yarns can be stretchier than others, so you have to keep that in mind. So for this second measurement that you have to have, you can also measure along the way. So you can crochet some rows and then you measure on your head and you see when it's enough for you, and then you stop or you add more rows. So you can do that. You can measure and check if it's a good fit for you along the way. Look, my hat is growing. And while I was crocheting this, I had a great idea. I'm going to make this tutorial into a 2-in-1 pattern. What do I mean by that? Well, it's great. I'm gonna tell you. So I'm going to make a hat that is like just a regular hat, like rounded on the head. Right? And using the same pattern, the same idea, we can make this popular hat, which is a square hat, also called a sack hat, or you're gonna see, or the popular cat ear hat. Look at that. It's the same design, the same idea, just when we are about to close the hat that it changes a little bit. So it can be a 2-in-1 pattern. Nice, right? Yeah, I always like to do that. So you have many options with one tutorial. So for this hat, you can make a regular hat or a cat ear hat, or you can make them in any sizes for the whole family, for babies, kids, adults. So it's very flexible. So let's keep making half double crochet stitches on the back loop only until we reach the circumference of the head, and it's only going to change at the end when we are about to close the hat, and I'll show you the two options. So let's keep working on our rows and on or growing our hats, and I'll meet you back in a while. I'm back here before we close our hats because I have a tip for you. So after you determine the size of your foundation chain, I suggest you to count the number of half double crochet stitches you are making along that foundation chain. So in this way, on every other row, you make sure you double check you are making the same amount of half double crochet stitches, so your hat is a good rectangle, so you don't have a hat that starts to increase here on the sides or decrease on the sides, right? So it's a very good idea to know the number of half double crochet stitches you are making for each row. And also that chain you make to go to the next row doesn't count as a half double crochet. So I'm just finishing my last row now. I have a few more half double crochet stitches to finish this row. Here we go. That's the last one. Now I chain one, and I'm going to join the two ends of the hat together. So I'm gonna close the rectangle. Look at that, it's a rectangle, and we are going to fold it until the two ends meet, and then we are going to slip stitch down here to join these two ends together. So we are going to make slip stitches here. So I grab the 2 loops from 1/2 double crochet in one end here, and then I grab the 2 loops from the opposite side, and then I make a slip stitch. So I grab the 2 loops here of this 1/2 double crochet, I go to the opposite side, and I grab the 2 loops of that 1/2 double crochet there, and then I make a slip stitch. So I do that until it's closed here. So we do that until the end. Just make sure you are grabbing the correct 1/2 double crochet stitches from each side, so your hat lines up here, so you don't have something like this at the end or something like this, right? And then you don't have enough 1/2 double crochets to finish your hat, and your hat is not going to be straight. So I'm going to make my last slip stitch here to close the side of the hat. Look at that. Up to now, the 2 hats are the same, so we are making the cat ear beanie first. And it's very simple, you just continue making your slip stitches over here too. So you close this hole. So the same way you made slip stitches here, you are going to continue making them on the top. So you have a closed rectangle there. So these cat ear beanies are also called sack hats because it looks like a sack, right? So let's do that. So let's continue making the slip stitches on the top here. So we are going to join the 2 sides here and close this hole. There you are. We are done closing the cat ear hat. So now we just cut the yarn here and then we weave in the ends. So I'm going to hide this yarn tail inside the hat here. And then it's all done. So I like to have it cuffed like this. And then when you wear the hat, you see the little cat ears. Now for the second option, which is a regular winter hat, you are going to cut your yarn tail, leaving a medium-sized tail of approximately, let's say, 25 inches. And then with the tapestry needle, we are going to sew that hole closed. So you are going to go all around and pass your yarn tail from the front to the back, and then from the back to the front. And you can do that in each half double crochet stitch row here. So you see, I'm gonna grab some loops from this row, and then I grab some loops from the other row. So you do that all around, and then at the end we are going to push all the rows together, and in this way this gap here is going to be closed, something like this. So let's continue doing that. I hope my explanations are clear. And this doesn't need to be so perfect, right? If you skip a few rows, it's still okay. Don't worry too much. You can start bringing those rows together if you want by pulling the yarn tail. Look. So I'm all done. Look at that. So I pull the yarn tail and I fix the rows a little bit until that gap is closed. If you see you still left with a little hole there, you can go across here with the yarn to close it further. That's what I like to do. Look. And then you can close the gap there if it bothers you. Otherwise, you can just leave it like that. It's a small hole. Doesn't make any difference, but you can close it like that. Look at that. Much better, right? So now I bring the yarn inside the hat and I weave in my ends there. So this is how my finished hats look. I also finished the black one, like I said in the beginning, that I was going to make a black one, and the topaz one. Look at that. You could also add pom-poms to your hats if you'd like. So many options, so many different styles in only one pattern. As always, I hope this tutorial was useful and that you make many hats. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next videos. Bye bye, have a good day.